Welcome, Walnut. I'm Lara, but you can call me Lazz, your host for Walnut Wednesday. This is your reminder to be brave, be yourself, and know that you can make the world a better place just by what you decide today. Here, I'm going to share my weekly walnuttings with you on a Wednesday. Hi Walnut, it is me, Lazz, here for another episode of Walnut Wednesday. How are you this week? Let me know how you are. Have you walnutted? What are the things that have been going on? Share with me and let me know. I do want to hear from you. This week my walnutting is I want to share a story, story time with Lazz, about what happened on a weekend and just like my discovering thoughts, feelings, emotions about it. So I would really love to hear what you think about this and if you resonate with this, because I do feel like it is a common thing. So my walnutting is going to cover like two things, and they're to do with other people and then like the lesson that I kind of learned about it. But I'll start with setting the scene and then I'll tell you what my walnutting was. So let me know, Walnut, if you have a pair or group of friends, and in the group of friends everyone's been friends for a while, and then people end up dating in the group of friends, right? I feel like this is not uncommon. This is a thing that really does happen in friend groups. The thing that is, it's really wonderful. It's delicious. But the awkward part about that is sometimes in the instance when the relation goes bad or when arguments start to happen, there are kind of rifts, I suppose, that would naturally occur because we start, having to express feelings and we have to vent about them and support the people that are having the venting, and it gets into a bit of a thing. So, that's the kind of scenario that was going on. But what happened was that, some people that I know had split, and we were at an event where they were together for the first time in a really long time. And I guess it might have just bubbled those emotions back up, as it naturally would when you have had a relation with someone and you don't see them for a while and then you see them again, all the things. My kind of walnutting, in a sense, was that one of the parties had specifically said that they want to just be amicable, kind of not ignore, but not really engage, and just kind of keep that separate so everyone like has a good time. And I'd there had been a couple of times where they'd been talking, and then the person who told me this had actually said, I don't want to talk about this now, we're having a few drinks, let's just leave it alone. And I don't want to get into the details of the story. I want to mainly come from a point of where I walnutted. But basically, old Lazz would have just left it, eaten everybody's shit, let the drama and all the feelings unfold, and just let two people not really have a good time and see what happens, and try to ignore it but get kind of sucked in at the same time. What present Lazz kind of did was actually, and my heart was racing when I said something, actually, because they happened to walk outside when I guess voices were kind of being raised a little bit. They weren't arguing, but there was they said, I told you that I don't want to talk about this while we're having a drink, like it was getting a little bit like feisty. And so I stepped in. I didn't mind my business and I stepped in because I just got a little bit tired of it, I think. And I had already pre-anticipated this. So like I was really like, I was even having anxiety for something that isn't even mine to have anxiety over, because I was thinking about the feelings of both of the people plus the other people, and then just basing on past events, the feelings of all the people. The life of an empath. Right? So I kind of stepped in and I just said, look, And I kind of was like the piggy in the middle, like the middleman, just kind of saying, well, they said this, you need to respect this, and you said this, so meh, 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 like all in the middle. And I actually think that was the right thing to do. What happened afterwards is probably an even longer podcast episode, and I'm not even going to get into it because it's got nothing to do with walnutting. But I am proud of myself that I guess I kind of just stuck to myself and my sacral and my gut feeling as to what was right at the time. And I mean, it led to like literally the night of a 5-line, a 5-1 profile in human design. I literally had so many deep and meaningful conversations, which as an introvert, I was very tired the next day. I think I'm still recovering. But I do love me a meaningful conversation though. But I'm really proud of myself that I did step into it and say something, because I could also just tell from the environment that I was in that it was bothering more people too, because like me, they were thinking about past events and how past events made them feel, how it made other people feel. And like, there was a lot of energy in the room going around. So I guess, my walnutting this week that I wanted to share with you, Walnut, is that even though it was to do with other people, not necessarily my stuff, it still affected me. And I still decided to be brave and go, hey, hang on a second, right, that's enough, sort of thing, and kind of try and cut that shit up for a moment. So that's my walnutting. Let me know. I'd be really interested to know, Walnut, if you have had experiences like this. I don't think that they're necessarily like a negative or a positive experience, but they are, I can imagine, a really common one. And it is a little bit, as a person who's not in the relation, that they can be like a little bit uncomfortable, like especially when it's the same group, because you don't really, it's a little bit hard being in the middle, I guess. So I'd love to know if you resonate with this and if it feels like close to home for you or not. The second part that I want to share about my experience in my walnutting is that it's a timely reminder that people are going to do what they're going to do, right? Despite my being brave and doing a thing for me and stepping in, that couple were always going to do what they felt they needed to do and what they felt was right at the time. So why don't we, like, why, what am I trying to ask here, Walnut? I guess I'm saying, you always say, that saying, you can lead a horse to water and blah, 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 blah. Why, if people are going to do what they're going to do, why don't we do the same? Do you know what I mean? So like, yes, I did do what I felt like I needed to do by stepping in at the time, but then they went and did whatever they were going to do anyway. So what was the point? I don't think I have quite thought out my question, but I hope you kind of are picking up what I'm putting down. So like, they were always going to do the thing. So why wouldn't I have just done the thing and not been the camp counselor and not done the thing? And that's probably just like a natural, this is how I normally act kind of scenario. But also, like, I guess the reminder for me is that slay in my own lane, because people will always do what they want at the end of the day. And sometimes that means like farting all over everyone, and sometimes that means thinking about other people's feelings, and sometimes it means they're going to disappoint you, and sometimes it means the opposite. But at the end of the day, you're kind of got to run your own race. And the moment that you start to, as a recovering people pleaser, I know, the moment that you start to include his feelings, her feelings, their feelings, and how this is all affecting everybody else, and stop thinking about how you're feeling, that's when the kind of shit hits the fan a little bit in terms of the stuff that you are carrying around. And what happened later on that night is, despite my having multiple conversations and all the things and having a good time here and there, I actually ended up leaving early because my capacity for life was done. I had done, like, it's been a busy time for me anyway, but I just called it quits. I felt it kind of bubbling up, and I was like, I'm actually just really tired, and there kept being like a thing where I couldn't kind of go, and in the end I kind of just like snuck off a little bit. I just called myself a taxi and I just left. I did say bye to people, but I didn't do the whole go around to everybody and say goodbye. My intention was just to sort of sneak away. And I think that's also a testament to Past Lazz, who would have, despite feeling tired and drained and wanting to go home, would have just stayed, spent more money, had more chats, felt the bags under my eyes getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And while it wasn't like in the initial, I want to go home and just go, I still went at a time that I felt was like good for me. So a couple of instances later where I felt time to go, I just went, and I had a good sleep. I had a good sleep. I watched some TikToks. I lay alone because Geordie was still out. And that was right for me in that moment. So despite what everyone else was doing, what people were talking and what people were not, and who was feeling what, I fucked it all off and left, which is another part of the walnutting as well. So there is a stepping in, but there also is a stepping out that kind of is coming full circle with this episode, I guess. But that's what I kind of wanted to share with you this week, Walnut, is that people are going to do what they're going to do. And so why don't we just jump on that bus as well? Because, fuck it. We only have capacity for what we have capacity for. And I think I'm realizing in my life more and more now that I really don't have much. And I don't know how I used to carry all this stuff for so long on end without any rest or without a break. I used to just be full consumed with other people's stuff all the time. And if it wasn't like actual like drama or stuff, it was running around after people so that I could make sure I was being a good friend and visiting them or doing the things, trying to be like some Mr. Nice guy and just running myself on empty all the time. And it's nuts because they, whoever they are, I'm doing like the air quotes, because they don't. So why the hell should we? And like, it sounds so savage, and Past Lazz will be like, oh, what you're saying is so mean. But it's not mean. It's like probably the kindest thing that I could have ever said out loud that involves myself. So, savage or not savage, let me know what you think. But I hope you kind of get what I mean with this episode, Walnut. Just people are going to do what they're going to do, so why don't we do it too? Am I right? So yeah, I hope this has made sense, and I'd love to know what you think of this episode, Walnut. But get in touch. There are multiple ways you can get in touch with me. You can join my Facebook group called The Walnut Tree. You can follow me on Instagram at Walnut Wednesday. And if you enjoyed this episode or any others, tag me at Walnut Wednesday on your story. I would love to hear from you. I'd love to interact with you. And I'd love to just know you and what you think and how you feel. Because your feelings and all the things are validated and they're so important. So that's me. Have a wonderful day. Happy Walnut Wednesday. And remember, you are beautiful, you are sexy, and you are delicious. And I will talk to you next week on Walnut Wednesday. Bye.